What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Takara Tomy Transformers masterpiece, Beast Wars Megatron. So this is an older figure. It's from several years ago. I think it's 2016. Yeah, I have to look at the box here, but it is quite some time ago. And this was sent to me by G. Tony. I've been kind of holding on to it, and I finally got a chance here to review it while I'm in between figures. So let's take a look at it. Very cool and detailed in this dyno mode. It does come like this in the box. One unfortunate thing, and I'm just going to cover that right now, is there is a spot right here for batteries. You take that screw out, pull off this panel, and you put the batteries in there. Unfortunately, this one doesn't work, so I don't know what the deal is with that, but his eyeball is off. Oh, there we go. And speaking of that, since we're talking about that anyway, you can pose the eyes in whatever position you want, which is kind of cool. It's got kind of a gold with a black pupil. That looks really nice. The mouth does open all the way. You can pose the tongue. There is a spot in there, and I guess this is more meant for a robot mode, but you can put this in here, so he's shooting out a laser or whatever. Coming to the back here, you have articulation on the arms. Rotates all the way around and goes in and out on this joint. Little teeny tiny T-Rex arms. The legs, now if you start moving it here, it starts on transforming, so you don't want to do that. You want to move here. So it is a ratcheted joint here. It's a little weird how it works, but you can get down to there, back to there. You can also move, let's see, this joint here. Not so much, just a little bit back and forth. And then the toe or the foot can move back and forth 2 clicks. Each toe is individually articulated. They just painted and detailed nicely. But you can move them up and down. So if you want them like tapping his toe or whatever, or grappling something or standing on top of something, you can do that. And then this rear one, it's got this nice die-cast piece for support that really holds him up and helps him to stand. Coming to the back here, this tail, you can move it. It's just a little weird, but you can kind of get it side to side there, and you can move it side to side here. So some nice articulation on this guy. I really like the look of the head and the teeth and the mouth overall. It did a nice job with the detail, and it's yeah, it just looks really good. Now he does come with a stand adapter, so if you want to get him in some more dynamic poses, you can. So if you come to the bottom here, you can see how this kind of slides right onto here. And then you're going to use the stand, and actually I guess it's the same stand. There's been the same stand for a long time. I have the one from the MP-43 Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp, but it's the same one they've had for forever, basically. But if you take this and you get him sitting on that, this stand, man, come on. It's not strong enough to hold anything, because I don't know what the point is, but I guess you can get it in some poses, running or whatever. I don't know. This doesn't really make sense, but I guess you could put one foot down and get the other one kind of running. Honestly, I don't know, but there you go. You can have him kind of in a dynamic pose, going to eat something. But due to the weakness of the stand, you really can't do too much with it, but there you go. And for a size comparison, there it is next to the Masterpiece Beast Wars Optimus Primal. You can see he's pretty darn big. I mean, in the show, he did tower over him, so it makes sense. Yes, I was too lazy to transform into gorilla mode, even though it's a pretty easy transformation, but it's almost the same size, a little bit shorter. So there you go for a comparison. All right, now let's get this guy transformed into his robot mode. Since this is an older retro review, and you've probably already learned how to transform him, I'm going to get him transformed off camera, and we'll be right back. And there we have Megatron transformed into his robot mode, and really nice looking robot mode. Lots of paint detail and deco. So all of this metallic purple, black, metallic silver, lighter purple. All of that is paint. You got darker green down here. The dinosaur kind of scale deco does come out really nicely. The hand obviously looks really good. It's the head of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and it looks great. Here's the back. You do have some kibble back here. All these panels kind of fold up, but they do kind of lock in place. So they're not going anywhere, so they don't bother you really. I mentioned that you should fold these out for stability, but they're actually meant to be in for dyno mode. So I just think that it adds some stability to have these die-cast pieces folded outwards for the dyno mode. But you can do whatever you like. Pretty good looking as far as the show is concerned. Now, he gets some interesting articulation. So the head is on a rotating swivel. So it goes, actually, no, I'm sorry. It's on a, hard to tell. I guess it's the ball joint. So it goes up to there, down to there, rotates all the way around, and you get the side to side. And it's a really nice looking head sculpt there. You have a rotation at the shoulder. That, should go all the way around. Let's see. I got stuck there. Okay, it is on a ratchet, so you can rotate it, but you kind of have to grab it. And then you have a rotation at the bicep. You have a single joint elbow, gets you basically 90 degrees, and a little bit reversed. Again, more nice paint there. For this arm, you get a rotation at the wrist, and then the mouth obviously opens. You can use that same blast effect here that we used in the dyno mode. I do find he's a little bit unstable. You got to pose him, but you can do that and get him blasting some Autobots, or not Autobots, I guess Maximals. So, pretty cool. Continuing down, you have a rotation at the waist. It is a little bit loose for my taste. I wish it was a little bit tighter. You have an ab crunch that gets you all the way down to there, so that's pretty nice. This arm is a little bit different. So this arm, you get the same thing at the shoulder and the bicep, but the elbow goes a little bit further just due to the sculpt, and you can get this piece underneath, that kind of cover down piece. And then you have a hand here, and this hand is articulated. Now, if you fold this out, this is tabbed in here, then you fold it out again from here. It's tabbed in here as well. You can slide this down, and that'll slide right out of his arm. And now you have a full articulated arm without the tail piece on it. So I kind of like that. I kind of prefer it, honestly. I'm not one for the beast kibble, but I know it's accurate to the show. I know that's what it's supposed to look like. But here's his arm. You get quite a bit of articulation on it. So you have a rotation at the wrist. You have in and out movement at the wrist. Individual articulated fingers at 1, 2, 3 pins. These are very articulated for Takara. You have actually, these two are together. So those move together, and the pointer finger is separate, so you can point. But it's a very, very well done hand. I haven't seen a lot of hands like that on Takara figures at all. So that's pretty cool. Continuing down, you have a leg that goes up to there on a ratchet, back to there, out to the side on friction. It does collide here, so you kind of want to move this out of the way. You can actually just remove this completely. So let's just show you that. Just pull it off. It's on this tab here. We can set that aside. And now you get the full movement out of there. And in fact, you can actually take this off too. They must know that I don't want all that kibble. So now you've got that nice clean look for the legs. They call this the light mode. I guess he did appear in the light mode a couple of times in the show, but generally speaking, he had all this stuff on him. Coming to the back, you can actually take these off too. It doesn't change the articulation, but I just want to show you can slide these upwards and off. Let's see. Yeah, so they slide. They're basically slotted in right here. So let's slide this one off too, since we're at it. And now you got really light mode, which is nice. I actually prefer it. Anyway, continuing down, you have a single joint knee, a nice, soft, strong ratchet. Gets you back to there. It's got a little bit of automorphing where this kind of disappears into leg, so that's cool. Rotation at the thigh, rotation at the knee, mostly for transformation, but you can use it. You have a ankle tilt side to side. You have a back and forth, those same two ratchets we saw before in Dyno mode. And then the same thing with the toes and the heel, you can move those. So without all that kibble, he actually is quite articulate. You just gotta get the stuff out of the way. And I know he's kind of naked now without that parts, but I really do prefer it without all that stuff. Now, in order to use his hunting rifle, which looks kind of like a dino piece of his, body with a bone here, it is painted and detailed nicely. You do have to take off this armor, the tail from his arm, like I showed you. There's a slot right there that'll tab into his hand, and now he can use his hunting rifle. And I guess he used his other arm as a brace. And you can't get this up to his eyes, so he's actually looking through the sight. So you can recreate the scene from the show where he was hunting. Pretty cool. All right, and since we have his tail off the arm here, you also get this little brush accessory. It is painted blue and white here for the bristles. It was actually in like a really serious packaging to make sure it didn't get damaged. This will fit right into the hand. Just use the same little slot you had for the gun or for the hunting rifle. And then he can reach around into his dino mouth and brush his teeth. I don't know. It's a thing you could do. I don't know. I mean, it's from the one episode, but me personally, I find this to be a silly accessory. But Takara likes to do stuff like that. So there you go. He can brush his own teeth. The same flight stand, but a different adapter for the flight stand. So you can use that here. So it comes with this little piece right here, and you get this and slot that in onto his butt plate. I do find it to be a little bit annoying, but it will fit onto there. Then if you go ahead and grab your flight stand from any other Masterpiece figure, as long as you have one, you can set it up like this, and you can have him in whatever dynamic poses you want. So that's kind of cool. If you want him to be straight up, and they did this specifically for a pose, you can put this on if you want him suspended in the air. So there's two tabs here. They're going to fit into the two slots in the back. So make sure you line everything up, get those tabbed in. And what that allows you to do is to get him, and this came out. Make sure you get that in there very nice and secure. All right, and then this is going to tab in here. Yeah, there we go. And again, this is not strong enough, but if you hold it straight up like that, you can have him like this. And the whole point of this is so that Optimus Primal can be throwing him. And there you go. I don't know if it's worth the trouble, but you can have Primal throwing him. The stand stands out. I mean, it's not clear, so it shows so much that I don't know if this is worth it, but they do give the adapter specifically for this pose. All right, one last accessory is the alternate face and heads here. And you do get this stock face here. That looks pretty good. To change it out, you're going to slide it upwards, and it just slides right off. There's two tabs on the top, and then one slot down here that fits onto there. And while we have this off, you can take out the screw there and replace those batteries. You need two LR44s. All right, so there it is with the battery cover removed and the two batteries installed. You do want it with the plus facing that way, so make sure you install both batteries like that, and then go ahead and replace the cover, and you can put the screw back in. So if you take the face and slide it down here, so here's the kind of maniacal laughing face, and you have that light up. That looks pretty cool. Nice painted teeth. And then the last alternate face here is the sort of, press the button again, angry, going to battle face, but looks good. I'm okay with the fact that the eyes don't light up that well because they're painted. I'd rather have painted eyes than have eyes that light up well, because when the light's not on, you want it to look good, and these definitely look good. But there you go for the alternate faces. So final thoughts on the Takara Tomy Masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron. Let's start with the positives. I think the paint and sculpt detail overall looks really good. They paid really close attention to what he looked like in the animation model, and this is spot on. I don't really like, personally, a lot of the kibble, but I know it's accurate, so I got to give them props for making it. I like the little guns here, by the way, on the hips. That looks cool. I'm not sure about the back kibble. That's not my favorite, but it can be removed, so that's nice. I also think the tail is kind of distracting because you can't really see the hand and the arm underneath. But again, you can remove it, so that makes it so that it's kind of easy. Now you can see I have him on this flight stand here, or this stand. It's very delicately posed here. It's going to probably fall off very easily. You know, it just doesn't want to stay. The stand itself, first of all, is just not that sturdy. And then this connection point right here between his back and this plastic piece isn't great. So you want to be careful with that, but you can get him into kind of like a running pose here or whatever. It works. It's just you gotta kind of work at it. But overall, I like it. I also like the dynamo, and I think that's the really strong point of this thing. I mean, it looks beautiful, poses beautifully. I wish the sounds worked in the dyno head. Unfortunately, it doesn't. But I do get the light up head here, so that's nice. But unfortunately, we have some kind of issue with the electronics. But either way, I do think it's a really good version of Beast Wars Megatron, the best version. So I do recommend it. Ultimately, it's not for me, but for those who are Beast Wars fans, this is a must-have. You got to have Megatron, of course, in your collection. So that's it for this review. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.